Welcome to my case study presentation on Fire Festival. In 2016, serial entrepreneur Billy McFarland, CEO of Fire Media, launched the first promotional video for Fire Festival. What followed is known as one of the most infamous public relations failures in history. A luxury music festival on Pablo Escobar's private island was promised. Models, influencers, celebrity chef catering, a $1 million treasure hunt. The social media launch made bold promises without any execution plan. Bella Hadid, Kendall Jenner, Hailey Baldwin, and more of the world's top models are featured in the video dancing and partying in the Bahama Islands. Ironically, as if foreshadowing what is to follow, the video promises that the festival will be on the boundaries of the impossible. This presentation will outline the crisis that unfolded and examine how the communication was handled. There is no shortage of issues that would evolve into a crisis of epic proportions. Where did the organisers go so wrong? Was there an opportunity for an effective communications plan to salvage the reputation of Fire Media? Fire Festival was created and promoted as a music festival like no other. The event was planned to launch the company's new talent booking app, Fire. Celebrity influencers, models, and athletes were engaged to promote the event with a viral social media campaign. The influencers simultaneously posted an innocuous orange tile to their Instagram, alongside #FireFestival. Fire Festival organisers contracted social media giant Jerry Media and Map Projects to produce the sleek promotional video. The video featured the highest profile models and the picturesque Bahama Islands. The buzz was dramatic, and tickets were sold out quickly. This hype is as far as the event organisers' communication plan extended. Looking at the stakeholders for the Fire Festival crisis, there is a common element that unites them all. None of the stakeholders considered the event a success. Enabling stakeholders include event CEO Billy McFarland and co-founder Jeffrey Atkins, better known by his rap name Ja Rule. Throughout the crisis, McFarland made critical errors in the expectation setting of the event. He employs experts in their fields, and these should have been enabling stakeholders. McFarland, however, does not consider or execute their advice. Keith Vanderlyn, example of the breakdown in stakeholder relations. Vanderlyn was head of logistics for the festival. He strongly pleaded with CEO McFarland to cancel the event or to dramatically change the plans. Vanderlyn expressed strong concern that the expectation set for the event did not match that of the attendees, and what the attendees expected was logistically impossible to deliver. Vanderlyn's advice to McFarland was to stop thinking about supermodels and start thinking about toilets. An experienced event organizer at this moment should have taken steps to communicate via social media, EDMs, and direct contact with ticket holders to reset their expectations. McFarland instead asked Keith Vanderlyn to remove himself from the project. Stakeholder theory recognizes the relative power of a stakeholder group. The theory suggests that any stakeholder group that is neglected or ignored can have a negative impact. McFarland, however, manages very poor stakeholder relationships. It is a relationship between enabling and functional stakeholders that serves to the biggest negative impact on the organization. Hundreds of local residents employed by the festival. These workers were functional stakeholders of Fire Festival and worked around the clock to get the festival ready. It was too little, too late, and these workers were left with no communication about the fate of the festival or when their payments were due. This is another key area where a strong communication plan could have made a difference to the festival fate. The other group of functional stakeholders who were affected by the event are the attendees. The expectations set by the organisers were wildly different to what was deliverable. Luxury villas became leftover emergency tents from Hurricane Matthew. The celebrity chef prepared meals of bread with some cheese and soggy lettuce. Ticket holders began contacting the social media of Fire Media as the event approached, trying to get some updated information. The communication strategy of Fire Media was to delete the negative comments to these pages. Consumers were left in the dark. At this point, according to Larkin and Register's issues life cycle, the issue is in stage 1. A positive communication plan could have saved the festival at this stage. Getting in front of the story, owning the narrative, communicating to the ticket holders a change in accommodation situation, and offering refunds to those ticket holders not wanting to attend after the changes are communicated. This would have been the best course of action. It could have prevented the issue from progressing to stage 2, the mediation and amplification stage of the issue. Event attendance and income would have been reduced significantly, but the disastrous outcome could have been prevented. Larkin and Regesta describe how a company's corporate social image can have an impact on the issue progressing to the next stage. Billy McFarlane has had a checkered business past, having already been caught out selling fraudulent event tickets and other devious schemes. This background meant the issue progressed through the issue's life cycle without leniency, as McFarlane had not built up a strong public image. Through the lens of situational theory, it is possible to examine the people involved and classify them by their level of awareness. The festival organisers communicated their distress to McFarlane about the lack of readiness for the festival. However, none of them executed any corrections. All the festival organisers and investors had varying levels of information about the extent of the problems. However, none were able to do anything about the problem. CEO McFarlane actively kept communication away from investors. McFarlane continued to inflate the success of the event to get more funding from the investors. Attribution theory describes stakeholders making attributions about the responsibility of a crisis. Stakeholders will assess whether the organisation did something to cause the crisis. This was evidenced by the Fire Festival reaction of the attendees. They immediately took to social media, depicting every aspect of the failed festival. Trapped on an island in the Bahamas, without adequate shelter, food, or water, the millennials who were promised a luxury festival like nothing they've ever seen before turned to amateur filmmakers. Within hours, the chaos was broadcast across the world. The attribution was not in question. Despite a public statement of fire about the festival cancellation being beyond their control, stakeholders were under no illusion about anybody but Billy McFarlane being responsible. In summary, Fire Festival was a disaster and there was no clear crisis response plan. Denial was the tactic used by McFarlane and his team, a tactic that very rarely has led to success in a reputational rebuild. There have been 2 documentaries produced detailing the fire crisis. Both documentaries include interviews with key stakeholders from the event, actively distancing themselves from the actions of Billy McFarlane as an act of reputational rebuild. McFarlane is now serving for the fraud he committed, and I will leave you with Ja Rule's defense of the actions of Fire Media.